Oh man, just love soaking up these imaginary sun rays.
Maya, I know you're excited for summer and all, and I know we only have a week left, but we still have our entire Shakespeare project to do.
Well, we don't sit and watch waves every Saturday night just for fun, okay? We've been doing this because I wanted to tell you we should do our project on the Tempest. We're not that lonely. Jeez.
Well, okay, but before we start talking about the Tempest, we kind of have to research Shakespeare a little bit. You know, how we have to talk about his life and stuff.
Alright. You said we couldn't make that part up. Hey, you should type that in the script, Sarah.
Yeah, got it. So, what else do we need to know? Let me look.
He was born April 23rd, 1564, to his parents John Shakespeare and Mary Arden. His siblings are Joan, Judith, Gilbert, Richard, and Edmund. His father was a bailiff in the town, and due to his high status, William Shakespeare was able to go to King's New School for free. Oh yeah, and on November 28th of 1583, he...
Maya, slow down. I didn't take Courtney or whatever you Sartellians took. I'm from Owatonna. I moved here last year. Just say it. Whatever you just said right now, redo it.
No. I'm just gonna keep going, but I'll slow down a little bit. How about that?
Fine, just don't expect everything to be spelled right.
On November 28th, 1583, he married Anne Hathaway, not the one from Princess Diaries. Sarah, make sure you put that in there. Yep, got it. Keep going. Okay. So apparently he was 18 and she was 26 when they got married, and she was pregnant.
Shocker. That's probably why they got married.
I'm not putting that in there, Maya.
Why not? It's fact. I don't really care. I'm just telling the truth.
Irrelevant, Maya. Just keep going. Anyways, they had their first child, Susanna, and 2 years later they had twins, Judith and Hamnet. Okay, and after the twins, that's weird. It says they don't know what happened for the next 7 years. Huh.
Alright, my hands are sore. You write the script now, Maya. I'll look up what they know about those 7 years.
Okay, fine.
Alright, well, it looks like those years that you were referring to, there's no record of him. And apparently they're called the lost years.
Many scholars have speculated that good old Will may have made some big life decisions in this time. Some think he went to work as a schoolmaster, law clerk, or soldier, while others think that he might have spent some time ruminating religion on various spiritual paths for himself. Eventually, he found himself in 1592 in London as an actor and playwright, ending his infamous lost years. Got it. What else you got? By the early 1590s, he was a partner of the management of the Lord Chamberlain's Men, which is an acting company in London. By 1597, Shakespeare had published 15 of his 37 plays. Some of these early works include his historical plays, such as Richard II, Henry VI, and Henry V. Some of his comedies he published in his early period were A Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, and The Twelfth Night. Nice. Okay, so after his early works in 1599, him and some of his pals decided to build a theater. They named it the Globe Theater.
Okay, that's some pretty solid information. I feel like that's enough.
But Maya, we didn't even talk about his death yet, or when The Tempest was published.
Well, you're the one Googling stuff on Wikipedia right now. Try to give me something to work with.
Alright, well, after his early works, he published some of his biggest and most known works starting after the year 1600. These were his tragedies, like King Lear, Othello, Hamlet, and Macbeth, just to name a few. Oh, yeah. I got it from here. Take over the keys, Higgy. His final years, he wrote a few tragic comedies. I think that's supposed to be kind of like a rom-com, you know? 2 things in one. Anyways, some of these included Cymbeline, The Winter's Tale, and The Tempest. Hey, that's our play. Sarah, we're almost done.
With the intro, Maya. We're almost done with the intro.
Yeah, but not much is said about Shakespeare after that, except for his death.
Whoa, Maya. Spoiler alert.
Sarah, this happened in the 1600s. It's not a spoiler alert. Anyways.
It was rumored that he died on April 23rd, 1616, which just happened to be his 52nd birthday. He left almost all of his fortune to his oldest daughter, Susanna, and virtually nothing for anyone else in his family. Shakespeare is known by some scholars to be the most influential writer of the English language in all of history.
Wow, that's some pretty interesting stuff, Maya. But what about the Tempest? What's up with that play? We're gonna talk about that right now, or are we just gonna ramble on about Shakespeare?
Yeah, you still typing? This is gonna be a lot. The Tempest was written and performed in 1611 and published in the first folio of 1623 from an edited transcript by Ralph Crane, one of the king's men. The main characters are Prospero, the original king of Milan, a magician, and a father to Miranda. Then we have Miranda, the daughter of Prospero, who falls in love with Ferdinand. Ferdinand, the son of Alonso, king of Naples, who falls in love with Miranda, and Ariel, the good-hearted spirit who serves Prospero. The play opens with a storm that Prospero has created in order to wreck a ship and bring its men onto his island. His daughter Miranda is sad and heartbroken about her dad creating the storm. After the shipwreck, Prospero proceeds to tell Miranda how he was king of Milan and how his brother, Antonio, betrayed him and took his throne, and then kicked Prospero and Miranda out of Milan. They then ended up on the island where magic and spirits are.
Prospero tells Miranda about how he released the spirit Ariel from a tree that he was trapped in years ago by a sorceress, Sycorax.
Okay, yeah. So I think it's your turn to type. That was kind of a lot. What happens next?
Prospero continues to talk about his how they got there and like that servant guy Caliban, I think.
Oh yeah. Her son Caliban, wasn't he like the only living being on that island?
He's made a servant of Prospero and despises him because he believes that the island is rightfully his and that Prospero took it from his mother, Sycorax. So after Prospero finishes talking about how he got them there, they go back to talking about the men who just landed on the island. After Prospero and Miranda's conversation, Ferdinand and Miranda meet and it's love at first sight. Prospero sees this, but in order to make known Ferdinand's true feelings of Miranda, he puts him to work. Meanwhile, Alonso, the king of Naples, and his ship crew are looking for Ferdinand and traversing the island a little bit. Among the ship crew is Antonio, Prospero's brother, and Sebastian, Alonso's brother, both men who worked against Prospero and are willing to plot against Alonso for the crown of Naples as well. These men are watched carefully by the loyal servants Ariel, who report everything back to Prospero. I'm going to add that after all the crew members have begun their personal island endeavors, Ferdinand and Miranda meet once again and proclaim their love and affection for each other.
And that's the scene we're gonna do.
Sounds good. So are you gonna be Miranda or Ferdinand?
I'm gonna be Miranda. You get to be the boy.
Fine, but we still need to go over our lines though. We can't just wing it, sit around a bonfire, and spin around the laptop while we read the lines off our computer.
I know, but you start.
I am, in my condition, a prince, Miranda, I do think. A king, I would not so. I would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly below my mouth, hear my soul speak. The very instant I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There resides, to make me slave to it, and for your sake, I am the patient log man.
Do you love me?
And no earth bear witness to the sound, and crown what I profess, kind event, if I speak true. If hallow invert what best is bodied to my mischief, I beyond all limit of what else I the world, I do praise, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I'm glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections, heaven's rain grace on that which breeds between 'em.
Or weep you.
At mine unworthiness, that dare not offer what I desire to give, but much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and prompt me, plain and holy innocence. I am your wife if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow you may deny me, but I will die your servant, whether you will or no.
Just dearest, and I thus humble ever,
My husband, then.
as heart is willing, as bondage of ever freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with heart in't, and now farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000. 1,000!
After they claim their love for each other, Stefano and Trinculo, King Alonso's jester and butler, who were on the ship, join forces with Caliban to kill Prospero and take over the island. They are in search of Ferdinand, and in search they are tricked by Prospero's servant Ariel, who hears word of their plan and tricks them to distract them from killing Prospero. In the next act, Prospero is seen with Ferdinand, giving him the A-OK to marry. Ariel also comes back to tell him about Caliban's new little squad and their plan to kill him, which infuriates him. Prospero makes Ariel get all of his spirits together to mess with them some more, which is more of an ego booster for Prospero if you ask me. After this, Prospero realizes it's time to get down to business and use the guys for the real reason he brought them there, to get Antonio to give his throne back to him, to get back to Milan, and to get Miranda and Ferdinand married so they can become king and queen of Naples. This all happens for Prospero, and he is set free from the island for good after reconciling with his brother and showing Alonso that his son is still alive, as well as getting the crew back together.
So that's all we can really say about the play itself. What do you think we should say is so important about the scene we did?
Well, I think we should say it's because the scene that we did is all about Miranda and Ferdinand finally proclaiming their love for each other. Their love is a huge part of the play as a whole because it brings everyone together, and it is used as a way to allow Prospero the opportunity to practice forgiveness while providing a strong message of reconciliation. This scene contributes to the main themes of love and forgiveness in this last tragic comedy of Shakespeare's career.
Sweet, now that we had that done, the last part's just the assessment. I can look up professional reviews of the play while you type up your opinion.
Alright, well personally for me, I thoroughly enjoyed The Tempest. I would have to say it's my favorite Shakespearean play that I've read thus far, mainly because the characters all live, and because the two characters, Ferdinand and Miranda, that fall in love, are not so head over heels that they forget about moral obligations. I preferred the happy ending of The Tempest to all the death in his tragedies, such as King Lear, Hamlet, and Macbeth. Although his tragedies are well written, I enjoy the happy endings instead. Done. All typed. What are your thoughts?
Well, Maya, I'm not a Shakespeare fanatic nor expert like RK is, but I thought the play was very interesting. I really enjoyed how Shakespeare had Miranda and Ferdinand have the quote-unquote happily ever after at the end. Kind of gave you that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. I also really liked how Ferdinand got the whole treat my daughter right spiel from Prospero while talking about not having sex with Miranda before they get married. I think it's kind of funny seeing how traditions and values in Shakespearean time is still related to today's society.
Very interesting. And hey, Sarah, I was looking up some other professional reviews while you were typing up your thoughts, and I found one. C.H. Rynell says that The Tempest is one of the most original and perfect of Shakespeare's productions, and he has shown in it at all the variety of his powers. It is full of grace and grandeur. The human and imaginary characters, the dramatic and the grotesque, are blended together with the greatest art, and without any appearance of it, though he has here given to airy nothing a local habitation and a name, yet the part, which is only the fantastic creation of his mind, has the same palpable texture and coheres symbolically with the rest. As the preternatural part has the air of reality, and almost haunts the imagination with a sense of truth, the real characters and events partake of the wildness of a dream. Wow, those are some big words. But I think I agree with what the critic says. He really touches on Shakespeare's skills to bring to life the characters of all kinds. When the critic says the fantastic creation of his mind has the same palpable texture and coheres with the rest, I agree with the fact that in The Tempest specifically, all of Shakespeare's characters seem to be real. Like I could have a conversation with them in real life, you know?
No, I totally agree, Maya. But I am going to be honest, I wasn't really listening. I was looking at more professional reviews of the play just so I can go home and do my other homework I'm procrastinating on, senior year. But I found this guy, J.H. Venema. He compares Hamlet and The Tempest. I think this could really work. He says, how sweet it is passing from the turmoil and struggle in Hamlet to enchant in a fairy tale-like atmosphere in the lonely island to which the great dramatist leads us to The Tempest. This play has been considered Shakespeare's last because the hero, Prospero, breaks his magic wand at the end. It has been suggested that Shakespeare instead this be understood as a symbolic indication that he would write no more after this play. He had author who must be identified himself as Hamlet during certain phases in his life, now found the greater truth indeed. He had conquered life, side by side with the tranquility and the enchantment we still have in The Tempest, struggles and evil characters. But Prospero, the hero, is no longer affected. He has power over nature. He is the master of life and death, whose commands the master Caliban has to obey. When we read this play or see it, we come to the conclusion that it is no less real or symbolic than Hamlet, but that now everything is controlled by Prospero's mighty power. I think what Vienna's trying to say is that The Tempest, like Hamlet and a lot of other works by Shakespeare, is very symbolic. But instead of all the power being controlled by evil, like in a lot of his tragedies, like Hamlet, the power is more controlled by Prospero, the hero in the play, or rather Shakespeare himself and how he sees him.
Sick. Okay, what else do we need?
Maya, I think that's about it.
Sweet. That's at least an A-worthy script. So let's go film.
Okay, that sounded so scripted.